Hi guys, welcome back to another video, and today I am proud to tell you guys that I have officially became a second year soldier. I just officially celebrated my 1 year anniversary with the Singapore Armed Forces on the 5th of July 2020. Woo! Pew, 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 pew. Meh, 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 meh. On the 5th of July, yeah. And also on the 4th of July is the SAF day, so it's quite apt, to do a video on lessons that I've learned from NS. And since today is polling day, as you can tell, this is my unused card because I am not legal yet, technically by the state, as my birthday doesn't fall before 1st of March 1999, even though I'm 21, but it's fine, it's alright. I can wait 4 years, I thought it would be a good idea to make a mishmash of lessons that I've learned from NS and also a little touch of what I've learned from leadership, from leaders in the army and leaders in the army. So yeah, NS. Boy, what a ride it has been, man. I'm sure it's different from like all the dudes in Singapore that serve NS, be it in the SAF, Singapore Armed Forces, SPF, Singapore Police Force, or SCDF, Singapore Civil Defence Force, But I kind of just want to share what I learned and experienced so far in my time serving the country, because I just hope it encourages you, and maybe you might not agree with it, who knows, you can let me know. But this is 3 points that I've kind of like thought of as the most essential lessons that I've learned. Actually I wrote 15, but due to time, I don't want this video to be like a half an hour long video of me just rambling on and on and on. As you can tell, I don't edit this video, so it's going to be quite boring. I just want to condense it to 3 points. So firstly, I found myself really treasuring time spent with my family more, because after all the confinements, weekend guard duties, what else? Stuff that holds us back, doing book out, before book out, I found that I really treasured every moment that I had with my family. On the weekends, on Friday night when we book out, or Saturday night when we book out, to Sunday evening, when we book in. So maybe for you, you don't stay with your family, or you stay with someone else. It may not be your family, but your loved ones. Especially in BMT, my basic military training, this was the case. Life was never easy for me in the army. I'm sure it's not for most people in the army too. But it was a little easier when I started to treasure the little things in life, and I think for all my dudes out there who are going to be future leaders in the future, whether you like it or not, your wife, your kids, your family, and even your company if you become like a CEO or a boss of a company. So you are going to be a leader in the future. All of us are leaders in our own right. We're leading our own lives, healthy living, all these kind of things. So being appreciative is a really good leadership trait that I like to believe is important in all our lives. So you don't lose sight of what you truly value as you pursue, the things in life, as you pursue people, pursue your jobs, pursue your dreams, your aspirations in life. Being appreciative of the little things and remembering how far you've come. Good leadership trait right there. Yeah. Secondly, I think it's working well with others. Oh my goodness, wow. In my time in the army for about a year now, I had my fair share of disagreements with people. A lot of disagreements with people actually. And I had a lot of difficulties relating to others relating to me not understanding the position, they not understanding my position, all this kind of thing. But somehow, strangely enough, even though it was tough for both of them, for both parties, for both me and them, it made me more empathetic to the people around me. It made me more empathetic, yeah. Because I started to see what they saw from their perspective, even though they couldn't see mine. And this is where I learned that letting people have their way is not a sign of weakness, but a show of personal strength. Let me say that again. Letting people have their way is not a sign of weakness, but personal strength. I don't know why there's this culture amongst guys especially, that you have to always put up a brave front, If you want to cry, you cannot cry. You must cry in the shower, or you cry in the bed. You don't let others see you cry. you cannot let others have your way, because if you do, it means that you're weak. You have to stand your ground. Oh, if you stand your ground, you have to do things that are like, I don't know, show off your masculinity. I don't know, I guess. And there's this, I guess, toxic masculinity culture that is going around that really has to stop. You know, I don't endorse it. I don't think it's healthy. I may do a video on it. Yeah, to explain my stand on it. But briefly, yeah, I just don't agree with it, because it makes people feel like they are not, that men is not supposed to be emotional at times when they're supposed to be, and all these kind of repercussions. Because and especially letting people have their way sometimes isn't showing that you're weak, but rather it shows that and it's not showing that you're weak and showing that people can step all over you, but rather it's a show of strength. You know, by saying that even though I may not agree with you on this point, even though I may not agree with you on this perspective, I'm willing to shift backwards. I'm willing to shift sideways. You know, willing to compromise, willing to 让步 in Chinese is called, for things that we don't agree, for the sake of not straining our relationship, you know, or friendship. And I believe, is my deepest belief, that really strong leaders are able to do this seamlessly. Like, they're able to, you know, because great leaders that you know of, that I know of actually, they don't dictate people, rather they lead them. What does it mean? They encourage people, they spur others to greatness, and they let people know that they are able to realize things that they never thought that they could achieve on their own. You know, these are great leaders, marks of great leaders and true leaders. And also it takes humility for a leader to say, hey, you might be right in this and I might be wrong. To like, maybe their subordinate, or maybe for you it's your wife, you know, or your son or your daughter, you know, in the future, if you're a dude. And let people have their way. You know, it's really not a show of weakness sometimes. Sometimes you do it too excessively, yes, but other times when it's necessary, you shouldn't be scared to do it, I would say, you know, something that I learned. And this is a mark, I feel, of a true leader, of humility, saying that you might be wrong when times that you're wrong, and you might be right when times that you're right. Yeah. And thirdly, and lastly, I guess is tough times don't really last very long. You know, this is a very PC, politically correct thing to say, but it's so true. It's so true. You know, after all the countless days and nights doing training, out in the field, out in the hot sun, out in the monsoon season where it was raining every day, and we had to sleep in like mud-filled shell scrapes, and all these kind of things. It made me understand that the hope that we have for the future is really the strongest form of emotion that anyone can have. You know, this was a very important lesson I learned in the army. So I'm going to lean in on this a bit, that I could apply to my life. In the army, because there are missions that we have to complete, you know, as a soldier, that we have to do it immediately, like we have to complete certain missions immediately. But also we need to think far, you know. We need to think how we're going to get out of the place, how are we going to deliver the information, how are we going to navigate through the jungle, etc., etc. You know, these kind of small things. So you have to think short, you have to think in the short term and long term, both at the same time. And even though the present moment, short term, may suck, because we have to like move out at like 5 AM, or like we have to move out at like very, very wee hours and to carry very heavy loads, we learn to appreciate what we're going through now, you know, moving out at these timings, because it will help us for the future. It will help us get out of there immediately, help us to get out of them quicker, help us to move out faster, you know, all these kind of things. And we also have a hope for the future. For us, because we're peacetime soldiers, like going back to bunk after training, and going back to like a nice hot meal, you know, at the cookhouse, all that kind of things, you know. And it's quite an inexplicit lesson that I had to learn, but it was very necessary that I understood this concept, how the short-term pain is not outweighed by the long-term gain, something like that. Yeah. And yeah, and I believe leaders are able to be far-sighted and short-sighted at the same time in whatever they do. They are able to adapt to the now while still maintaining a vision for the future. Like a husband providing for the family on a day-to-day basis, which is the short term, while still saving money for his kids' education in the future, etc. etc. You know, that's the long term. So I believe these are like lessons that we need to learn, you know, and lessons that I learned in my time in the army. So yeah, this is all I have. Happy belated SAF Day. Happy belated 1 year anniversary for Aero with the army. In my army green bomber jacket and my unused polling card, happy polling day. Shout out to all the NSFs that are working in the now, which is it's a public holiday, even though it's polling day, it's public holiday, but they're still working. Shout out to you guys doing guard duty. Yeah, you're real ones. I know how it feels. Hanging there, short-term gain doesn't outweigh the long-term pain. No, short-term pain doesn't outweigh the long-term gain. Yes, correct. So yeah, I'll see you guys in time to come. Bye. Ha. Did I miss something? Okay, no, I didn't. Okay, bye. Bye.